My name is Janani Narayanan and I am in grade 6, section B. I study in Birla Open Minds International School, Hyderabad. Today I am going to narrate to you my story titled The Mystery of the Grand Falls. Chapter 1. A Problem in Paris. It was a lovely morning in Paris. The birds were singing sweet songs that filled the air with bliss. Emma woke up in her room feeling brighter than ever. Emma was a tall and thin girl with dark brown eyes and long black hair. She had her breakfast that morning and cycled all the way to her best friend Anne's house. Anne was slim, with shiny brown hair and blue eyes. She was kind-hearted and everyone loved her. Anne loved to sleep. If her mother were not at home, she would sleep for 12 hours straight. However, today Anne woke up early and fresh. She looked out her window and saw Emma on her bicycle. She ran down and the two best friends cycled all the way to the Eiffel Tower. They sat down on a bench and were talking about how pleasant the weather was. Emma said, "The weather is so good today." A man wearing a black cloak came along. "Hi, Mr. Pippen," Anne greeted. "Hm," said Mr. Pippen meanly and went past them. "Who is he?" Emma asked curiously. "Oh, he's our landowner, Mr. Pippen. He's very mean and interferes with everything we do," whispered Anne. After a while, they decided to go to Emma's neighbor, Mrs Johansson's house. Emma told Anne, "Our neighbor, Mrs Johansson, is new in the town." They took their bicycles and cycled all the way to Mrs Johansson's house. Emma told Anne that Mrs Johansson was very kind and a great cook and that she wanted to open her restaurant one day. They rang her doorbell and her servant opened the door. She looked pale and was trembling with fear. Anne asked her what was happening. "Mrs Johansson is sick, terribly sick," said the servant. "What happened?" Emma asked the servant. She had been to the Grand Falls and came home sick. It must have been the food." "Oh, I hope she gets well," Emma said. "Yeah, hope she does," the servant said nervously. They both then went to Anne's house, and there they found out that Anne's mother was also sick. Anne said that her mother went to the Grand Falls the day before. "My mom did too. She was complaining of a severe headache today morning. Everyone is falling sick, and maybe it is because of the Grand Falls," Emma said suspiciously. Anne asked Emma, "Then should we go and check the falls?" "Yes," replied Emma, "but tomorrow." Chapter 2. The Grand Falls. The next day, Emma and Anne set off to question the manager of the Grand Falls restaurant. They met the manager. "Sir, we just wanted to know, why are the citizens of Paris falling sick eating your food?" Emma asked. "Honestly, I have no idea. My chefs are professionals," said the manager. "Can we investigate?" Anne asked nervously. "Sure. I like it that you teenagers are ready to help us. Go ahead," the manager said happily. After a while of searching every nook and corner of the restaurant, both of them grew tired. "What is the time?" Emma asked Anne. "It's 7:30, Anne replied. "I'd better get going," Emma said in a hurry. "We have work to do tomorrow. Tomorrow, we might have to stay at the Grand Falls and resume our investigation." Chapter 3. The First and the Last Clue. The next day, Anne woke up excited, as she and Emma were going to the Grand Falls to find the food poisoner. Anne went to Emma's house. They both started walking to the Grand Falls. "I packed everything we need: a torch, my new spy goggles, a hoodie to stay under cover." "Wait, I just remembered that we forgot something," exclaimed Anne. "Our cycles," remembered Emma. They made their way to Emma's neighbor's house. They reached their neighbor's house and took their cycles. That is when Anne noticed something strange. "What's wrong?" asked Emma. "Oh, nothing," said Anne. "I must be seeing things," she thought. They went to the Grand Falls and found the manager in tears. "We're closing this restaurant. Nobody wants to eat here." "We're sorry. You cannot investigate today," he said sadly. "Oh, no problem, sir," said Anne. "Why don't we look for clues, Anne?" asked Emma. "Sure. However, let's do it tonight. It's safest at night," said Anne, excited. "We will meet behind the Grand Falls at 10 p.m., said Emma. They went their separate ways after that. Anne went for her piano class, while Emma went for her art class. When Anne reached her piano class, she found out that her teacher was sick, and another burly man with a long mustache had come to teach her friends and her. A boy named Crosby came to her and told her that Mr. Jensen is very short-tempered, so we must be careful with him. Anne thought he looked familiar, but she ignored her thoughts and went for her lessons. At 9:59 p.m., Anne and Emma met behind the Grand Falls. Anne told Emma about Mr. Jensen. Suddenly, they heard something. They were footsteps. "Put your hoodie on," Emma said. "Let's hide behind that bush," said Anne, terrified. They ran and hid behind a bush. A lady and a man came along. The lady said, "No one is here. Take off your mask." "Mission accomplished. We can open our new restaurant tomorrow," said the man. "Let's tell our boss," said the lady, and they both went away. "Come on, Anne, let's follow them. Come fast," exclaimed Emma. "We don't have to follow them," said Anne, with a happy sparkle in her eyes. "Look what I found." It was a packet that was empty but had an address. "What if there's something invisible written?" asked Emma. "We will find out. My father used to tell me mystery stories. I think he mentioned something about invisible ink," said Anne thoughtfully. They ran all the way home, but Anne's parents were asleep. "What did you tell your parents?" asked Emma. "I told them I will be spending the night at your house," replied Anne. "I said the same thing, except I said I will be spending the night at your house," she said, laughing. "Now, how will we find out how to reveal invisible ink?" asked Emma. "I just have to look for the book. It must be somewhere in this dusty old bookshelf," said Anne, hopefully. "How many mystery books do you have?" asked Emma. "I have many. I love mysteries so much, and I'm really excited to solve this one," said Anne. "Yes, I found it," Anne exclaimed. Chapter 4. On Top of the Eiffel Tower. "Okay, read that part fast," said Emma, excited. "Okay, here it is. It says, if you heat the paper, the text will be revealed. All we have to do then is to iron it." "Great," exclaimed Anne. They both ran to the iron table and ironed the text. The text in a packet was indeed written in invisible ink. The packet said, "Food factory, want to join and make your own restaurant? Come and join our gang. The topmost floor of the Eiffel Tower, meetings every Saturday, 12 a.m. "Oh my God! Tomorrow is Saturday!" exclaimed Emma. "What is the time?" 11:30 p.m., replied Anne. "Oh, we'd better get going if we want to make it to the meeting," said Emma. Emma grabbed her backpack and both set off to solve the mystery. They reached the Eiffel Tower in 15 minutes. The elevator was switched off. The only way up was the stairs. Anne and Emma looked at each other. 1,652 steps, they exclaimed together. "If we really want to get there in... What's the time?" asked Emma. "Oh, it's 11:50, replied Anne, worried. "Let us climb now," Emma said. They started climbing the steps. 156, 157, 158, Emma counted. "Emma, you don't have to count. You're wasting your energy," said Anne. "Okay," Emma said. "Look!" exclaimed Emma. A man in a black cloak and a lady and the man they saw near the bush were all there. "Boss, we have done it," said the lady happily. "Yes, we closed Le Grand Falls. We can open our new restaurant soon, boss," said the man. "Do you guys even realize that people won't come to our restaurant because they're sick?" said the man in the black cloak very angrily. "Boss, just put a tagline saying, 'Organic food that will cure you of your sickness,'" said the man. "You will never understand, Jensen," said the man in the black cloak, irritated. "What did he just say? Jensen?" "Move, Emma," said Anne suspiciously. "And there can be multiple people named Jensen in Paris," said Emma, giggling. "No," said Anne. "This is Mr. Jensen, my piano teacher. Look!" She saw Mr. Jensen standing there wearing a cloak. "I can't believe this. That Mrs Johansson. And that man is none other than," said Anne, thinking. "Mr. Pippen," said both together. "You know, Emma, the day we went to take our cycles from Mrs Johansson's house, I thought I saw a man in a black cloak and a lady. I think they were Mrs Johansson and Mr. Pippen," Anne said. "Really?" Emma screamed. "Who is there?" asked Mr. Pippen. "Oh no," Anne exclaimed, frightened. Chapter 5. Caught. "He's coming here," Emma said, terrified, her heart beating faster than a racing car. "Gotcha," said Mr. Pippen, chuckling wickedly. "Emma and Anne, did you think you could solve this mystery all by yourselves?" asked Mr. Pippen, smirking. "Mr. Pippen, Mr. Jensen, and Mrs. Johansson, I never thought that you would stoop so low to open your own restaurant," said Anne. "You will not get away with this," Emma said. "We already have," said Mrs. Johansson, laughing, and she sprayed a kind of perfume that made Anne and Emma sleep. At dawn, Anne woke up, realizing that the three rogues had left, and they both were tied up with a rope. She woke Emma up, and they both were thinking of plans to get out of that place. "Do you have scissors in your bag, Emma?" Anne asked hopefully. "Yes, I do," Emma replied. "Where's your bag?" Anne asked Emma. "I left it at the entrance. Sorry," she said sadly. "Anne, you have your watch with you, right?" Emma asked Anne. "Yes. Why?" Anne asked. "You can use your watch to call too. So call the police," Emma suggested. Chapter 6. Mystery Solved. Anne liked the idea. They both were on the same page. Anne called the police, and 15 minutes later they arrived at the top of the Eiffel Tower. They untied Emma and Anne, and they went down for the elevators this time. They told the police everything, and the three rogues were caught. The police appreciated the girls for their brave act. The girls found out that Mrs Johansson, being a great cook, was going to be the chef of a restaurant, and Mr Johansson was going to be the pianist to entertain the customers. Mr Pippen was going to be the manager, of course. The good news was that Mr Pippen, Mr Johansson, and Mrs Johansson were arrested, and the Grand Falls restaurant was reopened. They gave food for half the regular cost for a month to all customers, and everyone in Paris was healthy and happy once again. People asked Anne and Emma to tell the story every day, so they decided to write a book instead of telling every single person. This is that book. The end.